Welcome to the Being Blackbeard podcast, a show for pirate geeks and TV fans about the show Crossbones. Here are your hosts, Phil Johnson, Tony D'Amco, and Richard Dreiling.
All right, turn it up, swashbucklers. You're listening to the Being Blackbeard podcast, episode number 4. My name is Phil Johnson. I'm one of your hosts. With me tonight is Tony D'Amco.
Hello, friends.
And Richard Dreiling.
Hello.
Oh, going with the British accent tonight, Rich. Very nice, very nice.
A really bad one, but
a really bad.
Works.
That's all right. So, first thing I want to do is thank all of our new listeners and welcome all of our new listeners. We hit iTunes this week, and our downloads tripled, and we've been getting all sorts of nice comments and all that kind of stuff. So, welcome you guys, and you may even notice that we have better sound quality tonight because we were working hard to put out an even better product for you. So, welcome to the show. Please keep on listening and telling your friends and dropping the reviews and all that kind of fun stuff. Let's get down to business. Tonight we're talking about Crossbones episode 4, and the title of the episode is Antoinette, which I have no idea why they named it Antoinette. Thoughts from you guys?
I was actually hoping one of you guys would be able to explain it to me. At first I thought maybe it was a Marie Antoinette reference when I first started, when the episode started. I thought there might be a character coming on that would be named Antoinette. The only possible thing I can think of is maybe that's the name of the girl that shows up in John Malkovich's head. That's the only possible guess that I have. But I'm open to interpretations.
No, that makes sense.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. And yeah, okay, so now that makes sense. Now, on that same note, it almost sounds like they took my advice last week and put a bigger twist at the end to make you want to watch the next episode, because I know they weren't listening to me, but it was the first episode where it ended, and I went, holy crap, I need to watch the next one, and it's not on yet.
Yeah, I thought this episode really flew by. It was pretty awesome. But yeah, it's got to be, Antoinette has got to be, are we allowed to? We're spoiling. That's the point of this podcast.
Oh yeah,
right?
Spoil the crap out of it. Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, so if you haven't watched the episode yet, then hit pause on this, and then go watch it, and then come back. But I'm pretty sure it's the woman who shows up at the end of the episode. I'm pretty sure that's Antoinette. It's got to be.
I love the idea that someone might be turning into our 4th podcast, listening to this first podcast, hasn't watched the show at all, but this is their intro, and then you telling them, no, you got to pause and review all the other information. That's awesome.
What if they're just being Blackbeard? That sounds cool. What if there was a movie where John Malkovich played himself playing Blackbeard? That would be cool, right? And then, so maybe they just thought that this was like an indie film kind of dedication pirate episode, and then, boom.
You're a glass half full kind of guy.
Exactly.
I would also like to say that the whole idea of them naming the show Antoinette and it not being clear to anybody is kind of emblematic of the whole series, that it throws out a lot of ideas and just either doesn't fully explain them, or just leaves it up to the audience to try and piece it together at some point.
And I like that, because that's the kind of thing that generates discussion,
Yeah, I mean, I think, the writer of this was the guy who wrote Luther, so it kind of, that's how Luther is. I mean, it definitely doesn't break it down stupid style for the audience, which I appreciate. That's a Marine Corps term. That's something we used to say in the Marines, oh, okay, break it down dummy style.
I want that to be like a shout out at a hip hop show. Break it down stupid style.
Break it down dummy style. First you move your arm like this, and then they have to say every single dance move as they're doing it. Break it down dummy style. Boom.
That's a t-shirt you can sell after a show.
There you go. Nice. Yeah, so that makes sense. So Antoinette is the mysterious lady who at the beginning strangles Blackbeard, which I thought was interesting, because she is not in any of the visions touched him. So that was kind of a different twist on that.
Well, and he claimed that he didn't know her when he saw her before, right?
Right. And
when he was talking to Lowe?
Yeah, but the guard says, we found your love. Is that what he said?
Yep.
Or your love is, we located your love, or something like that. So it was probably, what we're going to find out, it was like a one-night stand in Barbados, and he forgets about her, or is that something like that, maybe?
Or it could be somebody he killed or did something to her when she was younger, and now this vision is the adult version of her. Maybe that's why he doesn't recognize her. Again, that's just the theory I had watching the episode last Friday.
Who knew that spectral visions aged?
Yeah.
Really? I remember you, Spectre. You look much older than you used to.
Yeah, when you were 5 years old, I killed your parents, and how weird that in my visions you went through puberty.
That's funny.
Look, I know you're a ghost, but you look like shit.
You really need to lay off that heroin, girl.
Oh, there's a definite heroin chic look to that character for sure. Oh my god.
Yeah, she looks like what's his name when he's trying to withdraw.
What?
Like, I know they're trying to make her look scary, but what it looks like is she looks like the quartermaster, you know, when he's trying to withdraw.
Right, yeah.
And he looks like paper.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Now that was an interesting spot when they showed a little bit of the dark side of Blackbeard. We got a little dark side of Blackbeard back when he goes in and he's like, yeah, you better take the opium and get to work. I thought that was
I read something about the episode, and they were talking about how, like, by Lowe telling him that he was going to die, most likely, that it forced Blackbeard's hand. So any plans that he had in motion for the near future, he has to kind of hop on now, and that's kind of what set the episode in motion. But seriously, at the end of the episode, I was like, wait a second, where did that time go? You know?
Yeah, it did go by pretty quickly. But Lowe even said to Fletch late in the episode, he basically said that. He said, I told him he's going to die to force his hand to get him to act a little bit quicker than he had otherwise planned, you know. So now we don't even know if he's actually going to die, if he's got, because I mean, it really sounds like he's got a brain tumor of some sort. But then apparently the lady is real. So who knows? It could be something else completely.
Yeah, and of course my medical brain. Not that I just read a lot. I'm like a hypochondriac. I read the symptoms and then I think I have it. And so I was thinking visions. What he originally said to the guy sounded like he had Tourette's. But then it's like, well, Tourette's doesn't cause visions, and neither does TBI.
Right.
So I'm not really sure what Blackbeard has. Like, a tumor is probably the only thing that makes sense. But then again, you can't really trust the medical terminology in that show either, because you remember the first episode, they're like, all right, we're going to cut this infection out. Like, they're still bleeding people back then,
Yeah.
They're still doing stuff like,
absolutely.
Get the leeches.
Right.
Oh, you have syphilis? Here's a leech for your dick. That'll take care of it.
Wait, that's not the cure?
Yeah.
All these years. I thought I had it taken care of.
So Rich, if you watch too many episodes, you can start sticking needles in your head?
Probably. If I was bald, I would probably do it anyway. Just
for Halloween?
Yeah. Just walk around like Pinhead and then just like, hey, guys, careful. That's the guy's name, right? From Hellraiser?
Yep.
Yeah.
Pinhead, yeah. Just.
Oh, come on, this is San Francisco. There's got to be like 20 dudes with pins in their heads right now as we're talking. I mean, I just assume that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just in the Castro.
Yeah. Oh, it's date night. Clink, clink, clink.
So, you know what I thought was one of the really cool things in this episode? And I have no idea if this is a real thing or not, but when he puts Blackbeard out, where he goes, look into the candle and blink really fast, I've never seen anything like that before. I've never even heard of anything like that before.
That's a little crazy. At first, I thought he was like checking pupil dilation.
Yeah.
And then it was like, well, maybe he's trying to induce like an epileptic seizure, but then that didn't happen. So whatever it is, it's got to be something the writers kind of made up.
Yeah. But he actually did say that he said he was inducing a seizure, or said when he woke up, he said that seizure I induced in you, which if he was able to actually do that, then he actually does have an actual medical problem, or it's some hocus pocus, hypnotist stuff, which who knows?
Yeah, that's the thing. When I initially saw that scene, I thought it was like, is that some sort of hypnotist thing? And why aren't you doing that to everybody and to get off the island already? But then later on, when he explained how he had met some guy who he thinks has a similar condition, and that's why I had to do the blinking into the candle thing. I thought that was really well done and smart and very creative.
My first thought was, who can I try that on?
Yeah.
I gotta find a candle. Honey, come here.
It's like a roommate you don't like. Hey, come here, George. I just want to try something
Right.
real quick.
Hey, man, I hate to harp on it, but you need to wash the dishes and blink.
Yes, I know it's not normal to do the dishes by candlelight, but trust me. I'm just there.
So, and then we got...
Let me ask you all the...
Yeah.
If I... When that scene went down and he did the thing with the blinking, this is just my initial reaction to that scene. He does the blinking, Blackbeard Malkovich passes out. Was I the only one thinking, like, well, why don't you just kill him now? Why?
Oh, I definitely thought that too. Because I thought, that seems like too easy.
It's like, is this the last episode? What's happening?
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, why doesn't he just do him in? Isn't that the point? I mean, because whatever the plan is isn't going to happen if Blackbeard's dead. So, duh. But then they were like, oh, it's only episode 4.
Yeah, Malkovich is signed on for 10 episodes. We got.
Yeah, we can't knock him off yet. But yeah, I thought that same thing. I was like, that seems weird.
I kind of wonder what, after 10 episodes, like, what's the game at that point? I think some of like the weird kind of writing inconsistencies we've been talking about, where, that didn't seem like it made you want to go to the next episode. Like we saw some of that stuff pop back in this one, like the whole Ruby incident between the two, between the, I guess, what's her name?
You can say prostitute and black pirate.
Yeah.
Well, the prostitute and the I was gonna say the chick pirate because I'm a misogynist more so than a racist. Like I don't even see color, bro. Sexist. I didn't even notice she was black, just that she was a chick, and that's unacceptable. No, I'm just kidding. That's I'm just
Look,
being...
I've been a fan of that girl ever since she played bass in that John Cougar video. So just lay off.
It was weird because I had a vision of her last night, but she was like 90. It was weird.
I actually know their names. The black lady pirate, see, lady, not chick. The black lady pirate is
right.
Nima, and the prostitute's name is Rose. Yes, Nima and Rose.
Yeah, so Nima and Rose. But then it's like Nima said that she was like stealing it for love or something, and then it looked like they were gonna make out. I don't know. That was a little weird.
Well, doesn't it seem, again, this is just my interpretation of that scene, I thought that Nima has affection for her and that she was maybe stealing the jewel because she doesn't want her to gain enough money to leave.
Oh, that's a good point.
That's an interesting
That was
angle.
just my take.
Yeah, that could be. I was just like curious, why they went down that, like, I don't know. I mean, I thought they could have went a different place than that. And I read like some feminist interpretation of it that was like, well, a lot of the best plot lines and plot points that you see in the series are between Lowe and Malkovich, and like a lot of the female characters are kind of relegated to a backseat role, which I think is kind of true because like Selima seems to be a very competent person, but we haven't really seen like what she's about and what's going on. And I mean, other than really Kate, Kate, the white girl with blue eyes, obviously is proven to be like very competent and at the front of the action a lot of time, but that's because of her connection to Lowe. So it's kind of weird how some of the female characters definitely take like a back seat, But it is cool that Nima, helped out Lowe.
Well, it seems to me not just the female characters, but other than I think Lowe and Blackbeard's character are very well defined and very well thought out. But even a lot of the male side characters, they're piecing together as they're going along. I did enjoy this episode. I think it got more on point with what they were trying to do based on the original pilot episode. But I do feel with this entire series, and I don't want to turn it into tearing it down, is that it seems like they have a lot of great ideas that they just want to get to, but they're not willing to build it up and pace it out to where those big moments would be cool and interesting. I think they have a lot of great ideas, but they're not willing to take the time because maybe it's so many characters or so many different storylines that they're not willing to like let it build and let it take those gradual steps. Which is a common mistake with a lot of writers and a lot of new shows, to like trust the audience and say, look, we're hanging out with this, we're into it, we're watching it, we're here, we're willing to take the time to build up these characters and get to these grand moments. Which again goes to my frustration of the series, which is great writing, great characters. We're in it. Let it pace out and let the stuff build.
Yeah, they're definitely. I think they're not. I think they're taking their sweet ass time when it comes to the side characters, and then just going full force on like the main, say, 3 or 4 characters, which is kind of weird. But yeah, I agree with you. I think it'll eventually play out all those side characters in time. It's just gotta, be given that time to kind of move forward. Like I have a lot more confidence in the prospects for the series after this episode. Like I really liked it. It was the first episode where I wasn't like, what is going on here? What are we supposed to be getting to?
I think a good example of that is that they already, quote unquote, broke up Lowe and Kate. Like, episode 3, all right, we're having sex. Episode 4, we can't do this anymore. Like, it's been going on for months, And that I thought they were going to drag out a little bit more. But it could be, like we've talked about a little bit, maybe they just aren't sure they're going to get past 10 episodes. So they're trying to cram as much story into it as possible before September,
That's true. That could be.
But yeah, I wish they would drag it out a little bit more.
As do I. I think it's. I really do enjoy the show, and I think it has fantastic possibilities. But there is a part of me with the way the ratings are going and how just it seems NBC is approaching the series, that they're not buying into it 100%. And there is a little bit of fear on my part that, like, look, we paid for Malkovich, we paid for all this. We'll put it out there, but then when it's done, which I think would be a real shame, because I do think it's a really good show with a lot of possibilities, and I would be disappointed if at the end of it NBC just said, nah, screw it, here's more American Ninja Warrior game show, which would be just a shame.
Well, it is like a, it's a, what do you call it? It's a summer replacement, so I don't think it shouldn't be under as much pressure, but yeah, you're right. If they're looking at like return on investment, then that's going to be an issue, because I know that, look at the show. It can't be cheap to shoot. Like, that's just, they're not using green screens. It's a beautifully shot series. So yeah, you're right. If they're going by ROI, it's going to need to get like a lot of good ratings to make it worth coming back next summer, or maybe shifting to a fall series, but I kind of doubt they would do that.
Yeah, I don't think this is something that you can actually do for 22 or 24 episodes based on the cost of it and the look of it. But if it could be more like what BBC does, is okay, once a year you're going to get 10 to 12 episodes like an Orphan Black during the summer when a lot of other shows have faded. Then I think it could still continue and be a yearly thing and be an event. Like, okay, here comes Blackbeard again, or the series again. Just as a 10 to 12 episode run every summer after the end of the regular season, I totally could think it could continue on and be that summer blockbuster miniseries that is ongoing.
Yeah, I think that would be an interesting too. You bring up the sort of the BBC model, and what I like about that is that they don't have shows that go on for 10, 12 years at a time and just write themselves into the ground. They go, look, this show is going to go for 3 seasons and that's it. And that gives them time to really pace out their stories and give it a solid ending and things like that. But that's planning ahead. See, I'm not seeing that kind of planning ahead for this show, where it seems like they're just, here's a story, wrap it up. Here's a story, wrap it up. Here's a story, wrap it up.
Yeah. I think we might have talked about this probably the first or second episode. Like, we were talking about how, because everything's getting canceled. I mean, like, think about the 90s. Even though, yeah, you needed like a lot better ratings, back then to make things look good. They would sometimes give shows, 13 to, they'd like pick it up and then buy, 13 to 20 episodes, and they would let that show play all of them just to make sure that, it could build an audience and a following. And they don't really do that much anymore. And so what I've seen is, people, I mean, for lack of a better term, they're blowing their load as much as possible. Like if there's a storyline and they're not sure if next season will come around, they're going to cram that storyline into this one. Like, New Girl, for example, Nick and Jess getting together fairly early. Like, you see a lot of that stuff, whereas before it would have been kind of, brought out. So I think that's why we see like this weird kind of, building of the minor character, kind of attacking the Lowe and, Blackbeard kind of storylines, because I think there is a certain amount of like, oh, well, we want to at least give it a shot to be brought back. It's weird.
Yeah.
Well, well, this is where networks need to start adjusting to the Netflix mentality of your audience. An audience has learned from watching network shows that why get invested in a new show if they're going to cancel it after episode 2 or episode 3? If I like it, I'll catch it again on Netflix when they do put out all 12 or all 22 episodes. I can catch it then and just let it build. Networks need to start realizing that it's a different audience, especially when you're doing a show where you have to wait a week to get the next episode as compared to House of Cards or Orange is the New Black. You almost have to fall back into that BBC model of, look, we are going to give you 12 episodes. We are committed to the audience, that we hope you like it, but there's going to be at least this, instead of the idea of halfway through episode 3, like, oh, it's 2.2, cancel it.
Right. Yeah.
Here's an old episode of Frasier.
Yeah.
It doesn't work anymore like that. It just doesn't. And really, that's the trick of networks, to catch up to that idea. They almost have to go back to the 80s miniseries idea of television, where we've committed to this amount of episodes. You're going to get these amount of episodes. If those are well liked, there will be another season or another series next year. But for right now, you're getting 8, 10, 12, whatever amount to get hyped about it. Because with so many new network shows, the reason they get canceled is because people know, well, what if I like it and it's canceled in 2? It's just a shame.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's the only thing that I'm even watching on a regular basis, like in almost real time, because other than that, I pretty much wait for the whole season to show up on Netflix and watch it then. Even the shows that I do like.
That's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do. In fact, I'm like, as I actually spent my Sunday today. I'm such a baller, guys. I think you need to know this about me. I'm so awesome that I spent my Sunday playing Mass Effect 2 and binge watching Psych, because I'm just a badass. Like, that's, and I love those kind of where you can just sit down and marathon it. And I'm afraid Crossbones might not get there, because I'm looking at the ratings for Friday, and in that 10 o'clock time slot, 2020, which, yeah, that show sucks. It got like the total number of viewers for Blue Bloods was 6 million or 6.3 million, and 2020 had 6.2 million. So that's on ABC and CBS, and then NBC Crossbones had 2.29 million, which I'm guessing they were looking for something better than that. But of course, they had some stupid Leap of Faith special. I don't know what the hell that is. And whoever Meredith Vieira is, it just doesn't seem like a good lead-in.
Yeah.
For a pirate show.
Yeah. A couple points of interest. Number one, Psych is awesome. Number two, the lead-in to this week's Crossbones, I think, really hurt them. And it's a shame. Yeah, if you're losing to 2020, things aren't looking good. Again, it just goes back to also one of the things I've said in previous episodes, that NBC is 50-50 on this, and has been from the get-go. They're not willing to put all their chips in, or all of the blooms, if you will, into the show. And it's a shame, because they clearly put a lot of money into the making of it. And at this point, if whatever 6 to 8 or how many episodes they have left, they should just go balls in and lay it all on the line and get people into this and play some of the past episodes during the week when people are home, not on a Friday at 10 o'clock, and draw them in.
Did you ever watch Luther? Either of you guys?
No, I haven't.
No, I haven't.
Oh, man. Talk about a heavy serialized show. It's like, it reminds me a lot of Sherlock, but, not quite as, I guess, canned. Like, it's a little bit more of a real, like, dramatic detective show, and Idris Elba's in there. But it's a really good show, and there's constantly recurring characters. And it's one of those shows that, like, you watch it, and you want to sit down and watch the next episode, and you want to binge it. And so part of me thinks that anything that this show is missing as far as that is concerned is probably due to network interference or like producer interference rather than what the actual writer would want. Because like, I'm sure if he got his choice, this would be like Game of Thrones with pirates rather than, a bunch of idiots running around. I'm sorry, I hate Game of Thrones. So it's written by fucking type 2 diabetes Martin, as I like to call him. And he's spending his time like hanging out around set, watching these young girls get naked, whatever. Like, it's just not my thing. But it's still a pretty good template for how to take a show and make it pretty gritty and definitely serialized, where you need to watch every single episode to be able to know what's going on. And I think that they probably wanted to do that with Crossbones, but had to come to some agreement with the network where it would be like, well, some of it will continue and some of it, you'll be able to pick up on each new episode and enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah. And hopefully that means that they'll be able to stretch out in season 2, should there be a season 2, that, at that point they'll have enough say in the process where they can really stretch out and implement some of these things that we are so nicely suggesting to them.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they could have done it on a slightly smaller budget, I think that would have been the key there.
Malibu instead of Puerto Rico?
Yeah, I mean, like if they shot it, like, I don't know. Yeah. Shoot it on an island off Camp Pendleton where they're launching artillery all the time. Nobody would know the difference.
It's a completely different show then. It's a lot noisier. There are two things I think could jumpstart them on the next one. They need to actually have the Nema Rose lesbian scene happen. Because at first I was like, ooh, chick fight. Oh no, lesbian scene. Okay. So if that happens, that would get some attention. And the other thing is that I think they need to have Blackbeard wear something that doesn't look like my grandmother's robe. Because I don't know if you guys have noticed that. But whatever that jacket is, it looks like my grandmother's robe. It's like quilted. It's got little flowers on it. I'm like, how is that pirate gear? That is not pirate gear. And that just disturbs me a little bit.
Yeah, the roses on that outfit, on his coat, were a little much. Where I was like, "Oh my god, I guess it's spring in Pirate Land or what have you."
Spring fashion says roses.
At one point before the series ends, I want John Malkovich to be like, "And you do not understand," or whatever, like you do not, and then just be like, "Yar," just break into a yar at some point. He's got to say yar at some point in the fucking series, or it's just not going to be complete. Even if he's like screaming and then someone punches him in the stomach and it comes out like "Arr!" then that's okay. But it has to happen.
All right, guys. Well, why don't we? We're about our mark here. Why don't we wrap it up and do some plugs? Rich? What do you have going on this week as far as the comedy world?
On the 4th of July, I will be hiding in my house. And on the 5th of July, I'm telling dick jokes in the Tenderloin at our little theater.
Oh, our little theater. Nice.
Yeah. I'm not just going down to the Tenderloin like, hey, what's up, guys? You're buying crack. Let me entertain you for a little while. That's what I like to do.
Not that I'm not judging.
Yeah.
That's stand-up for you, though. That's a good way to get stage time. Just, stand-up's just one step removed from, talking on a corner without a microphone.
Oh, yes.
Makes you crazy.
Absolutely. How about you, Tony?
Well, if you're working for Charter Talent, there's not always a microphone. This Tuesday, As always, you can follow me on Twitter at Tony Diamco, TonyDijamco. I will be at Turlock this Tuesday for a fabulous gig, my first time there.
That'll be the Vintage Lounge. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And this Saturday, I will be at Livermore performing at some sort of winery, hopefully comedy. But you can get more information on my Twitter account, and I promise good times.
Excellent.
Yeah, look us all up on Twitter. Yo.
Let's see. This week, Monday, July 30th, I'm going to be at Surf City Billiards in Santa Cruz, and then I'm off for the week. So next week, July 9th, I'm going to be at Tulalip Casino in Tulalip, Washington, and then July 11th and 12th, I'll be at Chadwick's in Medford, Oregon. We've all been there. And nice. And that's going to do it for Being Blackbeard, episode number 4. Be sure to tell your friends. Let's keep this ship afloat. And I almost said keep this pirate ship afloat, but that is Adam Carolla's podcast. That's not ours. And so much more fitting for ours, really. So anyway, tell your friends. Keep hitting iTunes. Keep putting up those nice written 5-star reviews you guys have been giving us. And we will see you next week. Thanks.
You've been listening to the Being Blackbeard podcast. Visit us at beingblackbeard.com and be sure to subscribe and give us a 5-star review on iTunes.